Here is a question that people ask a lot. Can you build muscle and burn fat at the same time? So this is what is known as body recomposition. When we start a round of Lift to Get Lean, you will tell us what your goal is. So your goal could be fat loss. Your goal could be muscle building. Your goal could be a performance-based goal. Your goal could be body recomposition. Your goal could also be like metabolic recovery. So the metabolic recovery is an instance of a reverse diet. The body recomposition is the one that we're talking about today. So building muscle while reducing body fat at the same time. Can it be done? Right, Jeannie? So many goals. There's so many goals to choose from, and yet everyone gets like hung up on fat loss. You could have so much more fun doing these other things. So the thing with building muscle and burning fat at the same time, can you do it? Kinda. If you are new to strength training, you're gonna have what we call these newbie gains. So it's gonna be awesome for you to, get into the gym or wherever you lift your weights and start to experience that muscle growth because it's a totally new stimulus for you. Now, macros for a body recomp are really important, okay? Because you don't want to try to build muscle while in a fat loss phase, okay? Those are two totally different goals. So I believe that body recomposition can happen while you are in maintenance and then while you have specific body recomposition macros. What those macros look like are the high end of your maintenance with more protein, okay? So if you want to build the muscle, your nutrition needs to match your goal. So this is why it just kills me when everyone just stays in a fat loss phase for it. They say they want to get lean, but you're not spending any time building muscle. So body recomposition requires you to consume more protein. So, I talk a lot about that 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Yes, per pound, not per kilogram. That's more for normal average people who aren't strength training. They're not athletes like you. If you want to build muscle, it's got to be that, honestly, 1 gram to like 1.2 grams per pound, not kilogram. Don't come in here and come at me with those kilograms of body weight. So that's a lot more than you're probably eating. You also need to make sure you're having enough carbohydrates for that. Now, the other important thing is you can't just go into the gym or again, wherever you're working out and just kind of lift weights. Your training has to be intentional. So you have to be forcing your muscles to grow. How do you do that? By lifting heavy. How do you know if it's heavy enough? Are you failing? If you're easily able to get through your, 6 reps of squats, well, that's a good indication that you need to increase your weight. And yes, I said 6 reps. I didn't say 20 reps. I mean, I don't want to get into rep ranges here. You need all rep ranges, but the fewer sets that you have, the heavier you're going to, or the fewer reps that you have, repetitions, the heavier you're going to be able to go. So that means you're going to be able to go pretty darn heavy, right? So make sure that your training matches that goal of body recomposition as well. It's hard when you're training by yourself to know if you're pushing yourself enough. That's why I do believe there will always be a time and a place for in-person training. Once you start to know your edge, then you can push yourself to that edge more easily. And it's not that you want to go to failure on everything. Like sometimes you want to have reps in reserve, which is an RIR, reps in reserve. Now that's another little bit of high level information. But in general, if you're training to build muscle, if body recomposition is your goal, you need to make sure that you are training intensely enough to build that muscle. Then you also need to make sure that your nutrition is supporting those muscle gains. Now, I honestly don't believe in multitasking. I've never been a believer in multitasking. It's so funny. My husband and I used to argue about it. I would say, no, you can't multitask. And Pat would be like, yes, you can. I was like, well, you can do two things half-ass, or you can do one thing at a time really, really well. Same applies to body recomposition. Why not just instead then spend some time in a fat loss phase if you need to, then reverse diet your way up to a muscle building phase. So you have dedicated time in muscle building so that when you go back into your next fat loss phase, then you truly can reap the rewards of that dedicated time that you spent in your muscle building phase. Now, because I work with women and men have the same issues, you guys, and I've been doing this for such a long time, I know most people aren't willing to do what it takes to build muscle. You'll slash your calories, as low as the day is long. But the minute I ask you to eat enough to build muscle, you're like, I won't do that. I'm not willing to do that. So just know that. So do I have any tips on getting all the protein in? Absolutely. Take your total number. So let's say you have to eat 150 grams of protein a day to hit your goals. Take 150, divide it by how many times a day you like to eat. So then okay, that means I need to eat 40 grams of protein each time I sit down so that you can pace it out throughout the day. Curtis, does doing dumbbells every day really build your muscles and gain enough weight? If you can get to failure with dumbbells, Curtis, I find people outgrow their home gyms pretty quickly, right? You can maintain your muscles at home with that equipment. Like maintaining your muscle is so much easier than building muscle. So that's why when women are afraid of getting bulky, that's the last thing you should be afraid of. It is so flipping hard to build muscle. You're not going to build enough muscle to get bulky. You're absolutely not. I've been strength training for 8 years consistently, and I am not bulky. Some people might consider me bulky, but I'm sure most of you would not consider me bulky. Dedicated time in muscle building, dedicated time in fat loss so that you have one specific goal. I cannot stress this enough. When you are planning out your nutrition, you ask yourself, okay, what's my goal? Then your actions are going to be in alignment with that goal. That includes your nutrition, eating enough for whatever that goal is. If you're in fat loss, it's not going to be a lot. If you're in maintenance mode, it's going to be manageable. If you're in muscle building, it's going to be more than you're used to. But that's how you do it efficiently and effectively. So everything works together. If you're constantly having competing goals, this is why you're never getting the results that you want, because you're trying to, get lean by training for a marathon. Well, that means your marathon training is going to be shitty because you don't have enough fuel in the tank. Two competing goals. If you want to run a marathon, you better be eating enough to train for that marathon. If you want to lose weight, you don't want to be eating a ton. Let's see, I had a question come in. Where is that question? Oh, there was the dumbbell question. Yep. Do I recommend? Yeah, so Zane, I just use MyFitnessPal. And I use that because I know it the best. I'll have people come into my program and they're using that Lose It app or some other thing. What I tell them is, I can't answer your questions on that other app. Whatever app you like to use is good for me. I like MyFitnessPal. I find it easy to navigate. It's totally good for me. So that's the take-home message, you guys. Can you build fat and burn muscle? Can you burn fat and build muscle at the same time? Kinda. Yeah. What you'd be better off doing, though, is spending dedicated time for each specific goal. Yes, Gianna. So Gianna knows, especially eating enough on rest days. She recently learned that. Here's the deal, you guys. I used to just even 2 years ago think that if I had a rest day that I needed to eat less because I wasn't moving as much. Well, we now know that our workouts don't burn nearly as many calories as we think they do. Right? It's literally 5% of your daily calorie expenditure. So think about it like this. If you are taking stress off your body by not having that workout that day, and you're taking stress off your body by eating enough, that is like heaven for your body. So stress levels are going to go down, and guess what the scale might do? It might reflect that reduced stress. So the other thing that you have to consider in all of this is stress management. Your body will not release weight. Your body's also not going to build muscle if it feels super stressed out. So you have to like find that Goldilocks spot. Your body's got to be happy. Your physiology has to feel like it is in a safe place for it to make any changes that you want it to. Otherwise, it's holding on for dear life. All your body wants to do is keep you alive. And I was thinking about this morning. All your body wants to do is keep you alive. And here you are starving it, overtraining it. It's like your body is this thing that just wants to please you. I'll do whatever you say. I'll just do whatever you say. And the signals that you're sending it are like, hold on for dear life, girl, because this is all we got. So just think about that. Any tips for losing the last 5 to 10 pounds? Yes. Stop trying to lose those 5 to 10 pounds and focus on building muscle. Anyone who is that close, chances are it's not a fat loss thing anymore. So fat loss and weight loss are two different things. So those last 5 to 10 pounds, that's going to come from you spending time not being in a diet, but dedicating time to building muscle. Then the next time you go into a fat loss phase, you're going to be able to achieve the look that you want. And, I take that back. It may not be the next phase. It might be 2 phases from there. Remember, I want you to start thinking in years. Every year we add a layer. Every year we get better. Building muscle takes time. So if you can take 6 months out of that year living at maintenance and maybe even going up into muscle building if you got the balls for it, then the next time you go into that fat loss phase, it's like you just get more chiseled. Just like you were building a sculpture. So that mummy pooch too, where was that at? The mummy tummy. Also think about anytime it's mummy tummy stuff, have you done PT? Have you done any pelvic floor PT? It's not fat, perhaps. Maybe you're not engaged down there. Most of us don't have that mind-body connection. Are you doing your diaphragmatic breathing? So, Crystal, I would look into that before thinking that it is, fat down there, because it may not be. And also, I'm not big on accepting things, but our bodies do change, and it's okay. It's totally okay if our bodies change. Our bodies are meant to change. We're not meant to stay the same. So I'm glad you guys were able to join. This is a great topic. I know we all want to build muscle and burn fat at the same time, and you kind of can when you're new to training and everything, but after you've been training for longer than a year, I think it's a great idea to spend time in a dedicated muscle building phase, or at least in maintenance. I know most of you aren't willing to build muscle. Hey, Gianna, if you are still on, would you mind sharing what your current macros are? So Gianna is my adorable friend from the gym who is strong AF. I think she's the only girl there stronger than me. So clearly we're now in a competition, but I've seen her body transform in the last year. She's been working with Josh as well. And, she had the training down and then she put the nutrition piece into it. And that is where the game changes, you guys. Line up your nutrition for your training. It will change the game. It will honestly, I know it sounds like it's going to take longer, but it's actually going to shorten your journey because you're taking dedicated time to do it the right way. So Gianna must not be on, but I'll ask her when I see her and I'll share it with you guys. But thanks for joining in. Good topic. Let me know what you want to talk about tomorrow and next week. Okay, she's on, Gianna. 160 protein. And you guys, Gianna is a little petite woman. 65 fat, so good, and 240 carbs. Okay, that's exactly what I would expect. Yep, so she's got 240 grams of carbs. I've got 250 grams of carbs. If you are not on me and Gianna's level with your carbs, you are missing out on so much. You are leaving so many strength gains on the table. Sarah, I want all the muscle and I'm climbing to maintenance macros. Good. So Sarah, she's doing her reverse diet right now. We're not talking about reverse diet when Gianna's just in the beginning. Yeah, girl, you are on the way up. You're going to get up to at least 300 grams of carbs in no time. But yeah, Sarah, your body's really going to change too once you're eating enough to really find those strength gains. Awesome. Yeah, you do, Jeannie. We all want those macros and we can all have them, right? We may not be able to jump up to them right now, but muscle is like our insurance policy. It gives you so much freedom. You can't eat crap, right? But you can eat quality carbohydrates and you can have a little bit, I don't want to call it crap, but you can have a little bit of ice cream and cookies and things like that. You have a lot more wiggle room when you have muscle on your frame because your muscles, I think of them as storage units for my carbs. And so the more muscle I have, the more storage I have for the glucose that comes from the carbs. So don't be afraid to build. Don't be afraid to get in that muscle building phase. I know it's scary. I'm a woman too. And going up into those higher macros, it's really a mental shift. It's harder mentally than anything, but it is so worth it. And you don't have to do a million of them. Like you don't have to always do a muscle building phase, but at least get up to your maintenance. At least. What is your maintenance? This is another common question. In theory, maintenance is your body weight times 14 up to your body weight times 16. Okay? So that does not take into account any sort of metabolic adaptation that has gone on. It does not take into account what you've been doing for the past 5 years. But if you have a normal, optimized metabolism, in theory, a general guideline is your body weight times 14, up to your body weight times 16. So if you just did the math and you're like, whoa! Yeah, it's true. I love it, Joelle. I can't wait till you do the next round. I'm so pumped. Well, I will let you guys get back to your day. Maybe it's lunchtime for you. I'm getting ready to go work out myself. Pat and I are celebrating our 15th anniversary tonight. So I can't wait. Jeannie, can you go right to muscle building if you haven't been in maintenance for long? You can go up to muscle building. You can go right up. You can move more quickly. You just potentially might gain weight more quickly. So you can slowly reverse up to muscle building, or you can go a little bit more aggressive. Thank you, Joelle. It just depends on, what your priorities are. How fast do you want to get there? Yeah. So awesome, you guys. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.